The world is a beautiful place, but some corners of it are actively trying to do away with you. From islands ruled by thousands of venomous snakes to forests where the trees themselves are toxic. Today we're counting down 15 locations more terrifying than any Hollywood horror set. These are the places where nature stopped being majestic and started being malicious.
1. Ilha da Queimada Grande. Located off the coast of Brazil, this place is better known as Snake Island. It is home to thousands of golden lancehead vipers, snakes whose venom is so potent it can literally melt human flesh. The density is estimated at 1 to 5 snakes per square meter. The Brazilian Navy has strictly banned anyone from visiting, except for the occasional scientist brave enough to roll the dice. It's essentially the world's most intense floor is lava game, but the lava is alive and very, very angry.
2. Lake Natron. This Tanzanian lake looks like a beautiful shimmering red pool from the air, but its chemistry is nightmarish. The water is highly alkaline, with a pH similar to ammonia. It is so caustic that it can burn the skin and eyes of animals that aren't adapted to it. Animals that die in the water are often calcified, turned into eerie, stone-like mummies that wash up on the shore. It's nature's version of a Greek myth, where looking at the water doesn't turn you to stone, but touching it certainly does. 3. North Sentinel Island. Part of an Indian archipelago in the Bay of Bengal, this is one of the few places on Earth where the inhabitants remain completely isolated from the modern world. The Sentinelese tribe is fiercely protective of their territory and has historically attacked anyone who tries to land on their shores with arrows and spears. The Indian government has established a 3-mile exclusion zone around the island for the safety of both the tribe and outsiders. It is a place where time has stood still and the welcome mat is made of sharpened flint. 4. The door to hell. In 1971, Soviet engineers were drilling for oil in the Turkmenistan desert when the ground collapsed into a giant natural gas crater. To prevent the spread of methane, they decided to light it on fire, thinking it would burn out in a few weeks. That was over 50 years ago, and the fire is still raging. It's a 230-foot wide pit of fire in the middle of a barren wasteland. It looks like a literal entrance to the underworld, and the only thing missing is a welcome sign and a 3-headed dog. 5. The Danakil Depression. Located in Ethiopia, this is one of the hottest and most inhospitable places on the planet. It sits at the junction of 3 tectonic plates that are slowly pulling apart, creating a landscape of neon yellow sulfur springs, bubbling acid pools, and toxic volcanic gases. The average temperature is nearly 94 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, but it regularly spikes much higher. It's a place so alien that scientists use it to study how life might survive on other planets, mostly because it's hard to believe anything survives on this one. 6. Mount Washington. Don't let the modest height fool you. The peak of this New Hampshire mountain holds the record for the highest wind speed ever recorded by a human, 231 miles per hour. The weather here is notoriously erratic, with temperatures dropping to -40 degrees and blinding snowstorms occurring even in the summer. Hikers often underestimate the homegrown danger, but the mountain's erratic temper has claimed over 150 lives. It's proof that you don't need an exotic location to find world-class lethality. 7. The Skeleton Coast. The Bushmen of Namibia call this stretch of coastline the land God made in anger. The cold waters of the Atlantic meet the scorching heat of the Namib Desert, creating a perpetual dense fog that has wrecked over 1,000 ships. If you survive the wreck, you're greeted by hundreds of miles of waterless dunes and lions that have learned to hunt seals on the beach. It's the ultimate out of the frying pan and into the fire, but with more salt and despair. 8. Lake Nyos. This crater lake in Cameroon hides a silent, invisible killer. In 1986, a landslide or small eruption triggered a limnic eruption, releasing a massive cloud of carbon dioxide that had been trapped at the bottom of the lake. The heavy gas rolled down the hillsides at 30 miles per hour, suffocating 1,746 people and 3,500 livestock in their sleep within minutes. There were no wounds and no signs of struggle, just a sudden, silent absence of oxygen. It's a horror movie where the monster is a literal breath of fresh air that isn't fresh.
9. Poveglia Island. Located in the Venetian lagoon, this island was used as a quarantine station for the bubonic plague, and later as a mental asylum. Local legends claim that over 160,000 people died here, and that the soil is 50% human ash. The asylum was the site of alleged horrific experiments in the early 20th century, and the island is now strictly off-limits to the public. It's a place so dense with trauma that even the ghosts probably want to move to a nicer neighborhood. 10. The Death Valley Racetrack. While the heat in Death Valley can kill you easily, the Racetrack playa is famous for its sailing stones. These heavy rocks move across the flat, dry lake bed on their own, leaving long tracks behind them. For decades, it was a mystery, until scientists discovered that a rare combination of thin ice and light wind pushes them along. It's a place where even the rocks seem to be trying to escape the heat, and if you're out there without water, you'll be joining them in a slow, desperate crawl. 11. North Yungas Road. Often called Death Road, this narrow track in Bolivia clings to the side of the Amazonian Andes. With drops of up to 2,000 feet and no guardrails, it once claimed hundreds of lives every year. Frequent rain and fog make the gravel surface slippery, and the road is barely wide enough for one vehicle. While a newer bypass has reduced traffic, it remains a playground for thrill-seeking mountain bikers who want to see how close they can get to the edge of existence. 12. Oymyakon. This village of roughly 700 residents in Russia is the coldest permanently inhabited place on Earth. In winter, temperatures regularly drop to -58 degrees Fahrenheit or -50 degrees Celsius. At these temperatures, your eyelashes freeze, and turning off your car engine means it might never start again until spring. People here live on a diet of frozen meat because crops won't grow in the permafrost. It's the kind of cold that makes a freezer feel like a tropical vacation. 13. The Boiling River. Deep in the Peruvian Amazon lies the Shanai Timpishka, a river that actually reaches near boiling temperatures. Unlike most hot springs, it isn't associated with a nearby volcano. It's fueled by geothermal water from the Earth's crust. Animals that fall in are cooked alive almost instantly. It is a 4-mile stretch of water that produces a constant, eerie steam, turning the jungle into a literal pressure cooker. 14. Pripyat. Once home to nearly 50,000 people, this city was abandoned in less than 48 hours following the Chernobyl disaster.
What does matter is that to them, justice was done. See, a just world is a sane world.
Today, it is a decaying concrete skeleton reclaimed by nature. While radiation levels have dropped in some areas, the red forest and certain hotspots remain lethally radioactive. It is the world's most famous ghost town, a monument to human error where the silence is loud and the invisible particles are still waiting for you. 15. The Great Blue Hole. Off the coast of Belize, this massive underwater sinkhole is over 400 feet deep. While it's a popular spot for divers, the deeper levels are terrifying. Below a certain point, the water becomes anoxic, completely devoid of oxygen. In a 2018 descent, explorers found a conch graveyard, where thousands of the mollusks had fallen in and suffocated, as well as the remains of lost divers. It's a beautiful blue eye in the ocean that hides a dark, oxygen-free tomb at its center.
We spend most of our lives in climate-controlled boxes, forgetting that the planet doesn't care about our comfort. These 15 places are reminders that we are guests here, and nature doesn't always want to play nice. Whether it's the cold, the heat, or a literal island of snakes, the Earth is full of no trespassing signs, written in the language of biology and physics. See you next time, assuming you stay within the safety railings.